pretty much my team, our job is to really put the bones together, add all the meat to the bones of an aircraft, and kind of put it all together and make sure nothing falls apart. So it's a lot of fun, and definitely looking forward to seeing some of your faces kind of not just represent Lockheed Martin, but the future of aerospace. And like everyone else here, I am super excited to be here and answer some questions and get to know everyone. So thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. I am excited to hear all of the feedback from such a remarkable group. And so, our focus is, of course, self awareness. This is an opportunity, speakers, to kind of discuss your journey into your career pathways, as well as how some of the representation may still impact you. So, the first question is, which activities were you involved in high school and college that steered you towards these careers?
So, Rayon, do you want? Why don't we go in reverse order? Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, sounds good. So I guess a quick answer to that in terms of activities involved in high school and college, I'd say high school definitely. If you have the resources to get involved in organizations like this one itself, this is a really great start. Kind of get you organized to be involved in a discourse outside your classroom. But not all people have that opportunity. In my high school, there wasn't really clubs or anything like that for us to get involved in. So getting into college was really the first opportunity. And in college, it was pretty cool where you had organizations like NESB, all these organizations outside of your day-to-day class or work, but not just. So you have NESB, you have all your networking, but while you're in the organization, it's super cool to kind of meet other people who are doing the similar or in a similar major as you or similar majors, and then they also recommend you like, hey, did you hear about this other club here where we just focus on different projects? So I myself, as an aerospace graduate, I was also pretty involved with AIAA, and so kind of putting those two and two together, I used AIAA as for some of the design projects, get those hands-on skills, and NESB was a great opportunity to really network and get those soft skills. And when you put those together, I can almost guarantee you're going to have a very successful career very early in age.
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Claudine. I was a bit of a homebody and introvert in high school, so I mostly played video games. I did play tennis for 2 years, but it was really video games, building computers. Those were the things and activities that I was involved with. And that continued into college, where I really, my first 2 or 3 years, I struggled because I wasn't making the most of the opportunity, going out, meeting people, joining clubs like Nesby. And my junior year, I remember talking to my mom, and she told me that maybe I should change that up a little bit and join some of these activities and clubs so that I could meet people, find people to study with, and just have a better college experience. So I joined NESB, and the next year I joined the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, and she was right. I was able to meet people to study with, people who were in my majors, and that made college a much better activity. So I would say those were the activities that I was involved in high school and college.
Claudine, you're muted.
Am I? Can you hear me?
There you are.
Okay. Thank you, Todd and Rayon. How about you, Felicia?
So for me, high school, I participated in Up or Down, which I guess is very similar to this program. When I got to college, there was NESB and the Society of Physics Students, but mostly my peer group were probably my biggest influence. And I met all of those folks because we had similar coursework that we were doing in college. And that kept us all interested. And then we were all gravitating towards the same organizations like NSBE and the Society of Physics Students.
Very cool. Thank you. And I had to work in high school, so I wasn't very involved. In college, I caught up. I was part of the NSBE. I was part of Black Student Union, African Student Association, Haitian Student Association. I also pledged a sorority like Felicia. We're both members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So I stayed pretty busy in college.
All right, wonderful. If we have any follow-up questions from students or advisors, feel free to add those as well. You can enter them in the chat or you can unmute and ask. Our next question for discussion is what has been your journey with positive self-branding? How have you been able to promote yourself from high school, college, or even well, first of all, maybe we could ask, what does it mean to positively self-brand?
I mean, that's a tough question, to be honest. I don't know that I've done a lot of self-branding. That's something that I'm learning. It's become, I think, a more prevalent situation, being that social media is so popular. And I would imagine that for me, positive self-branding is still a work in progress. What do you think, Claudine?
Yeah, I agree. I think self-branding, the first step is to understand yourself. And for me, I did that. I started that in high school by journaling. So I would always keep a journal and try to write in it every day. Wasn't always successful, but it helped me understand who I was. And once you understand who you are, then you want to know um, what do you want to be known for, right? And then you want to be able to kind of promote yourself that way and make sure, like, if you say you want to be known for example, for me, um, at work, I want to be known for my technical excellence within my discipline. So I make sure I stay ahead of, all the technologies, all the trends that are coming through in my discipline. I do that. I also use LinkedIn now to promote myself. I go to conferences within my engineering discipline, and I do different panel discussions so people start knowing me in the industry and knowing, if they have like a question for systems engineering or how to design an aircraft. They know that I have expertise in this. I've been doing it for, you know, 20 plus years, and I'm able to promote myself that way. So going to different conferences, networking, also giving talks wherever I can, to show different things that I'm working on. Those are some different ways that I try to develop a positive self branding as an adult and promote myself. And I think the last thing is I try to be accountable. So if I say I'm going to do something by a certain day and time, I try to do that. So people will also know me as dependable as well.
And I can quickly add to that as well. And so everything Claudine says is perfect. Couldn't say it better myself. And to add to it, when I think of self-branding, I think of what do people think about when they hear your name or when they see your name, right? So when you think about that, you always want to make sure they always have something positive to say about yourself. That's actually kind of what your brand is, right? You see an Apple logo, you know you're getting that Apple product. You know, a lot of people have a positive influence on the Apple brand itself. The same thing should go for when someone sees your name. I see this person's name, I'd be like, this is someone who's super energetic, super passionate, super competent in what they do. I always want to be around this person. I always want to work with this person. So How do you promote yourself is, finding those things that you're good at or that you're passionate at, and continue to kind of pursue those things. If you don't have to be the smartest person in the room, but if you're always that person that is always working hard in the classroom, always working hard on that project, always working hard in that group, people are never going to have a reason to say anything bad about yourself. And in that way, it builds that positive self brand of saying, hey, this is someone I always want to be around, whether it be in the classroom, in a club or project, or even as a friend to have outside of the workplace.
And there's really not much more I can say uh, to add to what everyone else has said. But I know for myself, I want to be seen as versatile and resilient. I, I want people to know that any problem or challenge that is thrown at me, I'm going to do my best to solve that problem. And also communication. The others have mentioned networking and joining different societies, and that's all part of it. Being able to communicate what you know and how you're going to do it, as well as building rapport with your coworkers and anyone you interact with, really is a great way to promote yourself and have that positive self branding.
Could not agree more. Wonderful points made for that particular part of the conversation, and we will circle back to positive self branding as we discuss the impact and role of social media. The next question. Uh, okay, so this one is a little bit. Let's see. Can we see that there? Yes, it's a little bit open ended in terms of your personal network. When we think about personal networks, the last way that it was explained to me is having a network where you have people that you want to invest in, having people that help to mentor you and guide you, having people that you kind of grow and develop with. So, for the speakers, where have you seen the biggest impact in terms of your network? Like, has it been from someone that invested in you? Has it been from people that you helped to encourage? Or has it been from someone that you, maybe a classmate that you kind of got through the college and career pathway with?
I'll I'll go first. I would say the biggest impact for me would be one, my parents. They from the jump, they told me that they believed in me and that I could do anything that I wanted to, and they made that investment in helping me get to where I wanted to be. And then after that, when I moved into the professional world, uh, again, as you mentioned, mentors, they've been essential in opening doors and helping me move around barriers that I faced in my professional career. In fact, the reason why I'm working where I'm working is because I had a good relationship with one of my mentors who was in a position to give me a good recommendation or reference when I was applying for the job that I'm in currently. So that's really the biggest thing for me is having that solid foundation, and then once you have that solid foundation, building upon it by joining technical societies or clubs where you can meet people who can help you where you want to go, and you could also give back and help people get to where they want to be, and then being curious and intrepid and seeking out mentors or people who have stories or in places that you see yourself, and letting them know that's where you want to go. Because many times, a lot of people, I think that's where they'll experience those struggles or those roadblocks, is because there's a bit of a fear of rejection or a fear of talking about your challenges and your difficulties to another person. But you have to get past that and be willing to be a bit vulnerable in order to find the people who can help you get to where you want to be.
And I can quickly add to that. Sorry, Claudia, were you gonna go? Oh, okay. And I was gonna say another cool twist I know for myself, probably what's made the biggest impact for me is my colleagues. So these are my friends. A lot of the way that we kind of looked at it is that, we're all, we all have, an end goal. We all have a destination of where we want to be, but we are all in the same car. We are all on that same journey together. And so we really kind of use that as an opportunity for us to kind of pick each other up, right? And carry each other throughout the way. I remember my father told me, look at the person that you hang out with on your left and to your right. You never know where they're going to be in 10, 15, 20 years. You make sure you have those lasting relationships with your colleagues, and you'll never know, like, where you can end up in those years or where they can end up. And as long as you guys continue to, uplift each other, the um, the sky's the limit. Let's put it that way. So definitely, of course, your colleagues are a really good way, and especially for some people, not everybody does a really as good well of a job as developing those mentors. But if you have a good best friend or a good pal who really does care about you, who knows that you would do the same for them, they're going to do a great job of recommending you, saying, "Hey, I think this person would be a perfect mentor for yourself." So definitely, definitely make sure you're always kind of looking at your colleagues and your friends around you, and definitely see if you all can pick each other up.
Um, just to continue adding on to the conversation, I think the biggest impact for me is having a close network that's not very big of people that I can call at any time to talk about anything, especially in times of stress or struggle or uncertainty. And we all have those times, and having a support system in place that gives you an outlet for when those times arrive has been one of the best things that I've ever done, is to create that network of people that I can call and talk to. In addition to colleagues to deal with professional things, and peers to just have fun, and friends to just hang out with, having a strong support network of people who you can be completely vulnerable and completely yourself with, and tell them your biggest fears or what you're struggling with, or just to have that listening ear when you're angry and you need to blow off steam. That's been invaluable.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. I try to surround myself with good people. May not always be the most popular person, but um, people who are good at the core, because they can always provide help, and hopefully it's a mutual thing where I can help them, they can help me. But finding good people and holding on to them. I have friends that I've grown up with from junior high school, and we're still friends to this day. So once you find good people, and look at people's hearts, right? Not necessarily how popular they are. If they're good people, hold on to them. And, I've met some people in my network who, came to me as, asking me to mentor them. And it wound up being a, um, a bi-directional relationship. Although I might have mentored them, they might have also mentored me and taught me different things that I might not have known. So once you find good people, just hold on to them. That's the biggest thing that I could say in building your personal network. As Felicia said, it doesn't have to be small. They don't have to be the in crowd. They don't have to be the most popular people, but people who are good people who you can depend on, who treat you good, and you feel good being around. That's how you build your network, and that'll introduce you to others.
Absolutely. I was speaking with you, Mrs. Fair, earlier this week, and I think I recall telling you that I remember being at a Nesby event when I was in middle school, and just totally amazed that there was just a gathering of successful minds, hard work, determination, and I think that it kind of sparked my interest in life beyond middle school. Like, what would that look like for me? And the next question that we wanted to discuss was, we'll come back to that one. Uh, as far as NSBE, the National Society of Black Engineers, like, could you speak to how that involvement in this organization has really grown over time and how the chapter came to be for the Antelope Valley?
I'm going to let someone else take this.
Okay, I guess I'm going to ask for clarification. Is the question how we personally got involved with NSBE, or is it specific to the Antelope Valley chapter?
I guess it's a little bit of both. Or if you want to speak to either one, Mr. Jackson, but just how you started or how the organization is currently impacting you.
Okay, okay, yeah, I could do both actually. I got involved with NSBE my junior year of college. I was struggling academically and socially. And again, I talk about having a solid foundation. I went to my mother and I just told her that I was struggling, and I most of my friends were graduating, and I obviously I wouldn't be graduating on time because I had been struggling academically, and I just wasn't sure what I should do. And she suggested that I join NSBE. And that was difficult for me because I didn't like meeting new people at the time. I was shy and introverted. I kept to myself, but I I gathered up my courage essentially and went to a meeting and found that people were they were perfectly normal and happy to be see me, and glad I joined, or glad I came to the meeting, and they were willing to help me get to where I wanted to go. I met people who were in my same major or taking the same courses, people who could help me with or had taken the courses previously and could help me study. So that was a big benefit. And then going to what's called a PWI, a primarily white institute, like the University of Arizona, I didn't really see a lot of Black people in my courses, in my engineering courses. So when I got the opportunity to go to a NSBE conference and see a lot of people who looked like me, who maybe had similar backgrounds, some people did, some people didn't, were taking similar courses or majoring in the same discipline that I was majoring in. That really was a pivotal moment. It made me realize that, one, I wasn't alone, and that I was walking in the footsteps of people who had trailblazed the path for me, and that allowed me, or that instilled within me, a lot of pride and self determination that, yes, I could do this. I could get the degree. I could uh, realize my goals. So, as a student and a new member to NSBE, that was really an essential part of my academic career. And when I became a professional, I wanted to give back, and that's part of the mission statement: um, positively impacting the community, succeeding professionally, and positively impacting the community. So I stayed involved wherever I've been. I've lived in Arizona, Maryland, Georgia. I've made sure that I've stayed involved with NSBE, and that's what's led me to being active in the Antelope Valley chapter. Because, one, the organization has a lot to offer, and there are a lot of good people with whom I can network with, talk about the struggles I may be facing at work, and they can help me find a way to navigate those problems. And I get the opportunity to speak with a lot of motivated students who might be in the same shoes that I was in when I was their age, and I can give back and help them get to where they want to be.
Yeah, so like Todd, I joined NSBE my freshman year in college, and stayed in contact wherever I moved. I found a NSBE chapter in my local area, and there was usually a NSBE chapter. One of my, however, when the city I lived in before here in Connecticut, they didn't have a NSBE chapter, and one of my mentees started it, and I saw what an impact it had on the professionals. So when I moved here, I said, we don't have a chapter here, I'd like to start one. And I was able, one of my colleagues, Lance Winden, um, he did a lot of work in the community, a lot of outreach in the community. So we worked together, and he was like, "Well, let's just do it." So he was just an amazing supporter. Unfortunately, he passed away um, about 2 years ago, so I can't talk about it on camera because it's still a pretty painful memory. But that's how the chapter got started out here.
And to pretty much add to just NESB in general, why anyone should join. It really is just an amazing organization full of people that want to see you win. To keep it, pretty short and blunt, there's you don't realize the feeling until you're actually in the organization. How much people want to see you successful, not just for what you can not just for what you do, what major you're doing, but also who you are as an individual. I can't speak for everyone, but sometimes you're in situations where people like you for what you bring to the table, or vice versa. But in NESB, they really feel you really feel welcome for your holistic you as in general for who you are, and vice versa. Once you kind of graduate college, what the organization has done for you, so you want to do everything you can to kind of help that next generation, like everyone here themselves. I mean, and so that's pretty much all I wanted to say with that.
So I found NESB, I believe it was my junior year as well. And I would say that they were the NESB camaraderie that I built was instrumental in helping me transition away from college and into a professional atmosphere. Coming out of school and jumping right into a professional environment was a bit of a culture shock for me, quite frankly. And so it was good to have those peers that I could lean on and the mentors that I had in NESB as I was going through that transition.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I think that there's a lot that we can lean into as this is really our second year of being a district collective, and just having that gathering and that space just to your point, Mr. Harris, just to get some support, get some folks that care about your well-being and want to see you win. It's just beneficial all the way around. The other side of that is coming back to what you mentioned before, Ms. Brillin, regarding social media, right? Because social media is kind of the opposite, unless you're on a group profile page. It's your personal, individual, I don't know, testimony record, right? It's you kind of showing who you are, and if it impacts your career pathway at all, or if you see a necessity for a positive representation as you continue to excel, how might social media be impactful? We see a lot of companies and a lot of corporations are now also like integrating social media in messaging. Is this something that you see impacting you professionally?
I can't say that it's impacted me in a negative and or a positive way just yet. But what I will say is from a hiring manager perspective, social media can be both. It's a double-edged sword, right? It can show you in the best light because you have this presence that's out there, particularly if you are building on a professional network like LinkedIn. And it can also open you up to scrutiny based on what you are posting on your personal pages. Um, so so I think my guidance to most of the youth that I talk to when I go to different areas and people ask me about social media is be a little bit cautious about what you're posting, not because you're not trying to be authentic, but just remember that once it's there, it's there. And you have made that available to everyone. And it's true, companies are using social media to not only find candidates, but also screen candidates. I don't say that Lockheed does that particularly because I can't say that. I don't know. But what I will say is that that's a footprint, and it becomes a huge part of your personal brand, particularly in our network society that we have built and that we continue to grow. And so be mindful of that as you are building that part of your brand.
Yes, I'll say Felicia is exactly right. What you put on the internet pretty much stays there forever. You have to be mindful of what you're posting, especially if you have career goals, or particularly say you want to work for the government, or Lockheed, or any situation where you need to be verified to get a clearance. All of that comes into play when you post it on social media. And as far as social media impact for me specifically, I would say LinkedIn, which is the only social media account I have other than email, uh, is a pretty good tool to broadcast your skill set and your interests. I get a lot of attention from recruiters from LinkedIn. So if you're going to build your brand, as you say, you definitely want to focus on the skills and the positive qualities you would bring to a company, and the other stuff, the fun stuff, you just have to be a little bit careful about what you're posting.
Yeah, and to add to it, yeah, as mentioned earlier, your social media profile in its own way is your website, right? If you have a brand, you go to the website. What products do you have to advertise? And that's pretty much what your social media profile is. I remember myself, kind of funny. I don't know if this is like a Gen Z thing or whatever, but my social media has weirdly positively impacted me. I remember in college, I used to love making these RC airplanes, and I used to always tag my student AIAA branch in it and post all these different things. And I guess just posting on social media, a lot of the community outside of my university saw how passionate I was, how much I love airplanes, to the point that when I started going to some of these national conferences, people are like, "Oh, hey, your face looks familiar. I know you. I know you. I know your student organizations. How's your team doing, et cetera, et cetera." And from that, to kind of cut a long story short, that was actually how I was able to get my first opportunity for my first job. Because after, I guess, self-promoting yourself on social media, an organization like a NSBE or AIAA, once they see that whatever you're promoting yourself is a positive thing, they may weirdly indirectly start promoting you as well, to the point that where leaders for different, companies or organizations, they might be like AIAA, like, hey, check out this person, then they might get you your first job outside of college. So that's kind of one of those weird things. Like I said, it might be a Gen Z thing, but I can say that definitely social media can affect you in a positive way, as long as you're constantly conscious that everything that you post on there, as I said earlier, that everyone sees it. People does see it, and it never goes away.
Well, that's a great story, Rian. I love it. I Yeah, I think social media for me, whenever I utilize social media, it's a tool like anything else. Anytime I'm interviewing, I am Googling who I'm interviewing with. I'm trying to find out what we have in common. That way, when I'm in an interview, I can, casually bring things up that we have in common, just to make sure that I'm being relatable. Um, we- from a professional standpoint, I use LinkedIn. I know, a number of different organizations that I'm a part of want us social media a lot more. I'm getting there, but as has been said, you want to be careful about what you're presenting. Your facial recognition software, however accurate it may be, there's still that out there. So, be careful what you're posting on social media. If your parent, if you would be ashamed for your parents to see it, probably shouldn't post it. More than likely, your parents are following you on social media. So, social media is a tool. Make sure you use it to present your best self.
Lots of good insight shared with the group. We are in the portion of our meeting where we usually would like to have the students get a chance to kind of reflect on everything that was shared. And so at this time, we can open up the breakout rooms for everybody that's on the call. So that means mentors, advisors, students, you will be grouped together randomly. And the conversation is everything that we just discussed. If you go to the district website, we're looking at the self-awareness reflection, which is the third large print link, and it will take you to, or it should take you to, kind of the same questions that we saw in the discussion, but from a student standpoint, how are we kind of using this to guide us going forward? And so I'm going to open the breakout rooms. Hopefully, we can all jump into those smaller groups and just get a chance to break down where are we in this journey of positive branding and growing our network in a good way and making sure that we have some inspiring folks around us that can keep us motivated. So if you go to the triangle, square, and circle that's in the bottom right of your screen, I believe, you should see an opportunity to join one of the rooms, or it'll invite you to a room. Okay, and we'll take about 10 minutes.
Hey, Elizabeth, did you get to see my message? I sent a text message.
Okay, I'll check it right now, Mrs. Godfrey. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm just saying I have to run because I'm in charge of the tailgate for the football tonight. So I'm
Oh,
going to head out. So I
okay.
just wanted to let you know that. All
Thank
right.
you. You have a good evening. Enjoy
You
it.
too. Take care. All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye-bye.
Hey, Miss Harrison. Hi, Layla. I saw that you were in a call by yourself. Did you get the invitation to join the second room?
Yeah, I was in a call, but I already had
Oh, I'm so
someone.
sorry. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, may you please
Yes, I
send me
can.
back to breakout two? I mean one. Thank you.
Ms. Pineda. Ms. Pineda, were you paging me?
Yes, I was. I was just saying good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, hey. I am multitasking right now.
Understood.
Trying to, well, I sent you a copy of an email, so
I
check your email.
I got that one, and that should work out fine. I think I may be in a similar situation, so I'll send an email to the group today.
Are you talking, I hope we're talking about the same thing.
We are. We are. We're talking about the shared form, and so we'll be able to kind of edit as we need to, and that should work out just fine.
Okay, no, I'm talking about the tour. Check your emails for me.
Okay, I will.
Okay. All right. I'm kind of dealing with that right now, but that'll explain it.
No worries. Thank you for.
Okay.
Okay.
Did we come back to it early, Ms. Pineda?
No, not at all. It was whenever you were wrapping up. We are getting ready to close the meeting.
Okay.
And you had the senior group as well. Does it seem like we'll need more time for the next meeting to revisit the checklist?
You know what? And that was me being slow. I didn't realize that it was on the resources for students tab. So I was like, where is the checklist? I couldn't find it. But I just went off of memory because I looked at it earlier on my phone. So, and kind of went through the things that I could remember, the things I knew that she needed. But like I said, I only had one kid. So.
I'm telling you, if I had that one-on-one, that support, I would be AIAA as well right about now, right? I'm trying. Yeah. I'm trying to get information now and taking notes. So welcome back. I'll go ahead and close the room since I think we are getting ready to close.
Mr. Harris said that he had a friend that's kind of in show business going in that direction. And I was telling him it would be cool if she did like an improv workshop or something like that. You know, some people use that for SEL. So he's gonna ask, right, Mr. Harris?
That's right. That's right.
Oh man, that would be so cool.
Right.
Great idea.
Wow, crazy. You want to say hi to who?
Miss Pineda.
Oh, and I will say hi, Miss Pineda.
Hi, Miss Pineda.
Hi, wonderful. How are you, Anaya?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so before we get ready to close out with some reflection, I just want to give a huge thank you and gratitude to our speakers for taking the time from the National Society of Black Engineers. You all spoke to just the investment that being a part of an organization and different mentors and people that fed into you. Today, you fed into our district BSU students, and we could not be more grateful. So thank you so much for taking the time, and we look forward to continuing having opportunities to come together. And if any advisors would like to kind of speak to today's topic or to our speakers, my heart is full. I know you all are busy. We all have full schedules, but just that you took the time is appreciated.
Absolutely. I would just say thank you for your time and for your wisdom and planting these seeds in our students. I heard a lot of great things today that I know they can take away from this. So thank you.
And I would piggyback on that too and say, thank you. I just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing. And I love that we were able to get, diverse responses. And so it gives the kids something to think about, because not everybody's experience is the same. And so thank you guys for coming and sharing. And hopefully this is not the last time. Hopefully we'll be able to see and hear more from you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for coming and pouring into our children. We really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Also, I put in a chat, if anyone is interested, we have a pre-college program that is starting up pretty soon. Todd Jackson is one of the co-chairs of our pre-college initiative program. And we will be beginning that pretty soon. So if you're interested in STEM, if you're not interested, you're always welcome to join us. It's a supporting environment where we strive to achieve academic excellence. Todd, I don't know if you want to kind of elaborate a little bit more about your vision from a PCI standpoint.
Sure. Thank you, Claudine. PCI, or my vision of PCI rather, is whether you are interested in being an engineer or not, you're still going to learn the engineering design process. And more than becoming an engineer, it is a way to solve problems. So that's how I envision it. Teaching the youth, such as yourselves, to solve problems, do some critical thinking, and also learn about yourselves, have fun, and have the opportunity to meet people who are similar or different from you, but building upon that community and learning how to communicate and solve those problems together as a group.
Yeah, we're also hoping to take the students on some trips. We have our regional conference coming up in November at LAX, and then our national conference, our national convention where you'll see, over 10,000 bright, amazing Black engineers and students. And that's going to be in Kansas City, Missouri. So check out the link in the chat. If you're interested in joining us, we'd love to have you. And thank you for having us.
Okay, could we, Ms. Fair, could you put the link back in the chat? Because I think some of us might have lost it coming back from the breakout rooms. So I want to make sure that all the kids have an opportunity to access that.
Wonderful.
Sure, give me 1 second.
All right, excellent. So we talked about at our leadership summit, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote: "If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But keep pressing forward." We want to continue to press forward as students, as advisors, as mentors in our larger groups, because we know that the work has to continue. So thank you all once again. We will make sure that this recording is available just as a resource to come back to. And I believe we will see each other, everybody that's gathered on the call, will see each other again at the movie night on November 10th. So thank you again. Thank you again. Students, please continue to check in with your advisors and support them. And if you have any questions, comments, please send an email or leave a message for the social media page. You all have a wonderful, blessed evening, and we'll see you soon.
Bye. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thanks for hosting.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Pineda.
Thank you. Appreciate you all. All right. Take care.
Looking at these messages in the chat from these kids.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Marcel wants to make sure we all know you're a queen.
That's my buddy. Hey, Marcel.
Hi, Miss Pineda.
Oh, man.
Maurice said y'all are being weird, just having a little fun.
Thank you, Maurice. He's like, have the look at it. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to see you all at the movies. I know that's going to be just extraordinary. The energy. Yes.
I know, and we are working hard to make sure we are there.
Yes. So I'm going to send an email, Mrs. Dawes, because I think our groups are so big, and just trying to make sure we have all the pieces. I'm just going to send a quick email out for that, but it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we're just trying to, because we have that other trip.
Yeah.
Want to make sure everybody makes it.
Right. It's going to work out. It's going to work out for sure. All right.
Yeah.
Ms. Dawes, what donuts are you going to get?
I'm going to stop.
Bye. Miss Panita's still in school. She needs to get home. Bye, you guys.
No, she doesn't have to go home. Look.
She's about to end this call. Bye, Miss Pineda.
Children, let's go.
Ooh. Hang up and hang up now.
Calm down.
I'm being kidnapped. Okay. It's still recorded. Go. Leave.
Keep